Welcome y'all to Peep Game TV and Keeping It Real Team Collaboration. I'm your man Shadi Ali, aka SRD, with my man Jay Sean, aka Mr. F Love.
What's good?
What's good with you, brother?
What's good? I hear it sound good. I hear the mic.
Oh, you can hear? All right,
I hear
that's
it.
what's up.
I hear it better. I don't know for some reason this time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, man. I'm trying to get it right, man.
I gave mine to Dexter to fix it.
Yeah. Oh, to fix it. Oh,
I don't
okay.
know. I don't know what was wrong with it.
Yeah.
But what's going on?
Can't call it, brother.
Same old, same old.
Yes, sir.
Apologize for we a couple of minutes late, y'all. It's my fault.
Yeah, things happen, brother. Things happen.
It ain't enough minutes in the day for me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's about time management, man. That's what it's about.
That's right.
Time management. You know?
Yep, we'll get it right. I'll get it right.
Yeah. We'll get it right. We're working on this thing together. Let's get the people the intro music and get
Okay.
started, bro.
All right. Let's do it.
I'm having a wonderful day. The smile like we live is a blessing for me. Today the dreams will be on me. Cause I'm having a wonderful day. Hey. I'm having a wonderful day. The smile like we live is a blessing for me. Today the dreams will be on me. Cause I'm having a wonderful day. Hey. I'll wake up and thank. All right. I'm having a wonderful day. How about all of you out there? I hope you all are having a wonderful day as well. We here on another Friday, April 18th, to spend some time with you guys
Hmm.
and
Yes, indeed.
gals, you know, see what's going on, in the world, see what's going on in this land that we all live in. And get into some hey, what's up? What's up? Who that Roman? What's going on? You know? Hey, what's up? What's up? Who's that? Artie, what's up? Yeah. So, we here today. We here again doing what we do, spending time with you all,
Hmm.
trying to get into some, conversations that we all can, be a part of.
Yep.
Yeah, what are we going to be doing today? I mean, like I said, we're going to be getting into some conversations, conversations that hopefully elevate you, hopefully bring some different thoughts and clarity to your mind, that type of thing.
Yes, we are.
All right. So, what's good with you, brother Jay?
Um, I had a pretty productive week. Same. A little bit of stress. A little bit of progress. A little bit of progress. A little bit of stress. You know what I
All right,
mean?
let's get on that stress. What you stressing about? Let's let the people know what's stress, because I mean that's something I'm pretty sure most of us deal with throughout the day. So, what was yours about?
I earlier this week I had told myself that I forgot what day it was, but Monday or Tuesday, I had said that from now on that I'm not doing nothing else that I don't want to do. I'm 61 years old and I'm done. I'm done making other people happy. You know what I mean? I'm not doing nothing else to make somebody else happy unless it's something to the extreme and I feel like it's worthy, of my time because I feel like my whole life I always been making other people happy. So I'm done with that From now, if somebody want me to go somewhere with them, if I don't want to go, I'm not going. If
Okay.
people want me to do something for them and I don't want to do it, I'm not doing it. If
All right.
some people need some kind of whatever attention or whatever they need, if I don't feel comfortable and if I don't want to do it, I'm not doing it. So they could label me. They could label me bad, selfish, um narcissistic, anything they want to, but from now on I'm not doing nothing else I don't want to do. Unless I mean I'm not going to be selfish with it, because some things you have to do. Like if you got a significant other, you can't just tell her, I'm not doing nothing you want to do no more. You know what I mean?
Right,
So
right, right,
it's
right.
certain. Well, I'm not married, so if you married or something like that, it's a little bit different, because when you marry, um, you have to do things that you don't want to do, because because your wife or your husband might don't want to do things you want to do, and they might sacrifice that for you. So vice versa, you might have to sacrifice that for them. But like in my situation, you know what I mean, I'm not doing it, and I'm not doing nothing else I don't want to do. I don't care what nobody say. I don't care what they label me, what they talk about me. I'm at the age now when I don't care. So I came to that a
Conclusion.
conclusion this week. Yeah, I'm not doing nothing else that I don't want to do, because I've been doing it like my whole life. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Um, and I think now that if I wouldn't have, I wonder where I would have been. You know what I mean? Because a lot of things that I didn't do and I sacrificed held me back from endeavors that I was trying to reach. You know what I mean? So I'm just not doing it no more. That's all.
Okay. I know Artie had said um, that was something that happens with them. You know what I mean? People ask them to do things, and and I think that's something that happens to all of us. I think at certain points of times in our life, people around us want us to do things for them. And for me, it's not a problem only when it only becomes a problem for me when it's not reciprocated.
That's what I yeah.
That's when you start to get stressed out. That's when you start to get aggravated. That's when you start to feel like you're being used.
Hmm.
And there are a lot of people who only come around just for you to do something for them.
Hmm.
Now, when everything is good for them, you don't hear from them. I
Yep.
feel stressed out sometimes when I get pulled out of school.
So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and it's definitely stressful,
yeah.
and
Very.
the thing is, what's necessary for all of us is to strive to work on some stress management, where we learn to not allow other people in other situations that are not, as you said, totally necessary to be doing, put us in a position where we start stressing out,
Right.
where we allow ourselves to neglect what we want to do and end up doing what someone else wants to do.
So you said
Somebody
he
said,
nine
"What
years.
they what did they say?"
He 9 years old. I don't know. He 9 years old, and he give money to the homeless.
Oh, that's a great thing. That's a great thing. That don't stress you out. What you do is help somebody else not to stress out if you do that. So the people that I'm talking about who are the people who want things but don't want to give anything. And
Or
we have too many people doing that too often. And we have people angry, stressed out, and you know, some people just get withdrawn and don't even want to deal with anybody. They want to hide.
Right. That's
So
true. That's
yeah,
true.
so that's it. So if you are one of those people who the only time you come around is when you want something, please work on that. Start coming around and asking those same people that you always want something from, can you do something for them sometime? How
Ex-
about that?
exactly. Exactly. I
Go ahead.
I came about this thing this week where I said that I was talking to somebody and we said givers givers should be find somebody like them. Givers should be with givers. Takers should be with takers. You know what I mean? Because even if you're a giver, you want people to give to you sometime.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? You don't want to just be a giver or somebody blessing somebody all the time or helping somebody all the time and they never helping you. They never blessing you. They never, you know what I mean? They never like you said, they never coming around when it's your turn to reciprocate the favors or the time or the attention or whatever it might be. You know,
Yeah,
so
yeah, you're right. Um, and that's a valid point to try to find someone who's compatible with you. You know what I
mhm.
mean? Because that's basically what you were saying. That find somebody who's compatible with you. Find
Mhm.
somebody who wants similar things that you want.
Right.
You know
Right. Right.
that? Yeah,
Because if you don't, it's gonna lead to stress and it's gonna lead to um difficult situations and difficult times and hardship and all that, and then you're gonna wind up like I said, that was the part of my stress this week. You know, that was my stress this week that I was doing things last week that I didn't really want to do. I just was doing it, doing them to make somebody else happy.
yeah, and I find it happens more times now with you know with family members a lot of times. You know what I mean? A lot of times family members can get you to that point.
Yeah.
Children, other, they get you because somehow children feel that you're obligated, even after they're grown.
Yeah.
Some of them feel like you're obligated to do certain things for them that they're able to do for themselves.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And we as individuals have to be very careful between helping and hindering people,
Mhm.
because you do too much for a person, you hinder them. You
Yep.
stunt their growth at your own inconvenience. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
Yeah.
so so
Absolutely.
it's definitely necessary to be mindful and be careful of that type of behavior because a lot of stress, anxiety, and high blood pressure, things of that nature, come from
Mm.
behaviors that are external, external behaviors that other people around you display, and you internalize these behaviors, and it causes you to feel some type of way. And
Mhm.
and don't get me started with the people who don't want to speak up for themselves. Those are, now, if you don't speak up for yourself and say how you feel, now you're holding it in, you're smiling, and you're feeling like screaming.
Mhm.
So
That was me this week.
that was you this week.
Yeah, that was me. That's why I said I came to the conclusion. Now I'm not doing that no more.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
doing it. I'm not doing it. So that was my stress. That when you're doing things to make other people happy, and I'm not with that no more. What other?
absolutely. Margie was saying that people with good hearts end up getting used you know, by people, you know, especially those ones that don't want to do nothing for you. Absolutely.
Mm,
That's exactly what we were talking about earlier. That, yeah, people want to use you to help
mm-hmm.
themselves, but are not there for you when you need help.
Yep.
And too much of that is no good for anyone. And we
Yep.
need more people to realize that, look, just like you want help and consideration, so do the people that you're asking. They want help and consideration at times too. And,
That's what
and everybody needs something different
that's what I
at
just
different
said.
times.
That's what I just said. If you a giving person, you gotta match with somebody who a giving person just like you. You know what I mean? A giver can't be with a taker.
Hey, what's up? What's up, Keisha? Yeah, absolutely. Because go ahead.
Yeah, a giver. No, I'm just saying a giver can't be with a taker. It's not gonna work.
Well, what's going to end up happening is the giver is going to end up empty. You're going to end up empty because you're going to be uh, basically the analogy is you a faucet and you're dealing with a drain. You know what I'm saying? So you study pouring out and it study draining you.
hmm
Unless you put a stopper in there, then you're gonna drain yourself out.
Yep. So that's what I did. I'm putting a stopper in there.
Yeah, it's definitely necessary to do that, and it's
Yeah.
you know, um, and it's like Margie said, we have too many people in the world like that with their hands out. What can you do for me?
Yep.
And nowhere to be found when you need some help.
Yep. Yep. So that was my stress. That was I what that's what the conclusion I came up today last week from the stress that I had. Like, nah, I'm done with
Right.
that. Um,
So not only because you mentioned something about it not being enough hours in the day. So not only does doing things for people who won't reciprocate it, drain you, it also takes away time from things, as you said, that you could be doing for yourself.
yep.
You know what I mean? So that cuts your self productivity shorter.
Yeah, it does. It does. So and everybody could work on that. You know what I mean? Each and every one of us. I'm sure everybody know what I'm talking about and feel what I'm feeling. And and understand what I'm saying. And it's not in a bad way. It's not in a mean way because people hate when you wake up. You
Mhm.
know, they want you to stay sleeping.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
people want you to how would they say it? Stay like a walking dead or mentally dead or whatever, something like that. People don't like when you wake up and when you change. So,
And those who don't have your best interests are that way. People
mhm,
who have your best interests, they want to see you wake up. They want to see you change. They want to see you grow. That's how
mhm,
you determine who's your friends or, and who's acquaintances. You know what I mean? Based on what they want from you and what
mhm,
they want for you.
mhm.
You know what I'm saying? That's
Ab-
how you determine.
absolutely, absolutely. So, no.
Yeah.
Uh,
Go ahead.
what I wanted this last week, we were supposed to continue talking about something, but I forgot what it was. Remember last week?
Yeah, yeah. It was something in reference to love, wasn't it? It was
I don't
something
know,
because
but
you asked me something at the end, and I actually didn't remember it. I don't remember it quite either.
I don't remember. But I had something else I wanted to talk about too. I had because everybody, people that's listening, I'm in Patterson, New Jersey, and Shaw's from Patterson, New Jersey, but he's not
Right.
in Patterson now.
Yeah,
But
I'm in North Carolina right
he
now.
in North Carolina, and I'm still in Patterson, New Jersey. So where I've been living here a couple of years. So maybe a week ago, or last week, or 2 weeks ago, I think it was a week ago, I walked up the street because there's a liquor store up there,
Right.
like a block away from my house. So I go up there, sometime to play numbers or sometimes to get something to drink or something. So the store is notorious for closing at 3 o'clock, opening at 12, and they don't have set times. I
Oh,
guess
okay.
I guess the lady who ran it she was trying to sell the place.
Right. Right.
So I guess she was on her last leg. So for about a year, you might walk up there at 4 o'clock and you might walk up there at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It might be closed. You might walk up there the next day at 4. It might be open.
Okay.
So I went up there last week. I seen a different guy in there. I don't know if he was Hispanic or Indian. I don't know. So I walked in the liquor store and I played a couple of numbers, and I think I got some beer or something or some wine or something. And the guy stepped to me like this, Shy. He said, "Yo, we under new management." I said, "Oh, okay, that's good." He said, "We open from 10 in the morning to 10 at night, 7 days a week. Spread the word."
Okay.
So I was like, "For yeah, y'all open 10 to 10." He said, "Yeah,
Okay.
Jean's liquor store." I said, "Yeah." He said, "We affiliated with them."
All right.
So they
12
already
hours.
got a
Okay.
so they already got a prominent historic location of a liquor store that's known, Gene's liquor store.
Right. 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 Down there, held in that. Yeah.
Yeah, over the bridge. So he was like, "Yeah, it's we're gonna be open from 10 to 10, 7 days a week. Spread the word." So I said okay. I said, well, that's a good time because the other owners, they didn't have set hours. They opened when they want, they closed when they want. And the guy was like, yeah, she was on her last leg with it. Anyway, I got the drinks and I left out because I live a block away. And I start walking home and I start thinking. I said, you see what just happened? My man didn't. Now they got one liquor store. They done moved
Right.
another one. So not only is he probably telling me we open 10 to 10, 7 days a week, and telling me to spread the word, he probably telling everybody that come in there that. But I'm talking about us.
Right. 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 Right.
So I said, you see how they come, the powers that be, whoever, because everybody know where we from is liquor stores on every corner and check cashing places. You know what I mean?
And churches.
And churches. So I said, that's how they come into the community, and it go right over your head. Because imagine if I told 5 people,
Right.
and then they tell 5 people, and then they tell 10 people, and then they tell another 5. It's nothing in it for me. It's nothing in it for my children. It's nothing in it for my grandchildren. It's something in it for his children. It's something in it for his grandchildren. It's something for his people, whatever he want, but it's nothing in it for me, or it's nothing in it for us.
Right.
So I just thought about it for a long time, like, you know what I mean. I really thought about it because we have heard people talk about it, but
Right. Right.
it really hit me and sunk in how my man said, spread the word. We hear from 10 to 10, 7 days a week. I said, now, what make them different from the people that's on the corner selling drugs? What make them different? You know what I mean? Than the people that's trying to hustle and do things. You know what I mean? They just got a license to kill because alcohol is not good for you.
Right,
But
right.
anyway, to make a long story short, I said I wanted to bring that's what I wanted to talk about last week, but I wanted to get your feedback on it. What you feel about that whole scenario?
I think, okay, statistically, it says we as a people spend $1.7 trillion. Spend. Now, that's not talking about what we make.
Hmm.
And if we spend $1.7 trillion annually,
Hmm.
what you just said is a good example of where some of that money goes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if and as you said, and see, when we talk about people, we didn't make people different. God did.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? God made us different where okay, there's Latinos, there's white people, there's different ethnicities of people.
Right.
And it's nothing wrong with being different because actually we should embrace the differences that we each all have and
Hmm.
basically be able to work with it, work
Right.
together. However, my problem is that it seems that, as you were saying, we seem to be the ones who are back to giving. We seem to be the ones who giving more than we are receiving as a people. And there was something on TikTok where Asians were saying they come buy these Gucci bags from us off of our site because they're the same bags they're selling in the store. We're going to do it for like $100. And you had, black people promoting it, saying, yo, go to their site, go to their site. My point is, why don't we feel comfortable doing for each other that way, promoting for each other? At the end of the day, that was your point that you were really trying to say. Like, okay, he's gonna ask you to promote for him,
Tell me.
but he's not gonna donate nothing to the community to you. Donate nothing to your children. Meanwhile, his pocket's getting fat
That's what I
off
was
of your
saying.
help.
That's
You
what I
know
was
what I mean?
want. That's what I wanted you to say.
Yeah, yeah. So and that's the problem. Like at the end of the day, everybody wants to do well. Everybody wants their people to do well.
Right.
So we shouldn't feel bad or we shouldn't feel like we're doing something wrong when we want to help each other
Right.
because we help everybody else. And very rarely do people help us. You know what I'm saying? All the
Yep.
marches we did, and all of these, you know, laws that got passed. How many was really passed that would benefit us?
None.
So yeah, I agree that it's necessary for us to start helping each other grow. You know what I mean? Part of that $1.7 trillion need to go towards us because I look at it like this. One of my questions was are we in a much better position than our ancestors who were slaves? Are we in a much better position than them? That was one of my questions since we were on this.
Oh, literally speaking, we of course we are, but I'm sure. somebody probably could make a reason to say we not, but I mean, you gotta say we are because um we not being subject to the same torture that they
Beaten and
were.
whipped.
Yeah,
Beaten and whipped.
yeah. So
Okay.
I would say we in a better physically
Okay.
we in a better position, than our ancestors was. We have to be because we not being hung and beaten and whipped and you know forced to do certain things. You know what I mean? But in other ways, I believe that we still slaves, and in certain kind of ways. I think about I think about my father. Rest in peace. I think about my father. Uh,
Hey, what's up? What's up, Didi?
his mind was programmed to just work. That was it.
Right.
By any means necessary, work. I mean, even though he did other things, he had businesses and all that. But I don't, me personally, I don't think our, I talk about I don't think my parents were programmed to have fun and enjoy because all they did was work. And then when they got a vacation, we might go down south to visit his parents or something like that. You know what I
Right.
mean? But I mean, like, far as my mother and father going, to a beach.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? Just going on a vacation somewhere and kicking back and really relaxing and just them. You know what I mean? So you gotta say that the older people mindset was a little bit different from ours. I mean, you still have people like that, but a lot of people now, they work hard and they play hard, which that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. I don't got no
Right.
problem with people that work hard and play hard. To me, that's okay. My father used to say, every day you could get up and work is a good day. And I used to tell him every day I don't work is every day every day I don't work is a good day for me. But everybody got different logic, man, so
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
anyway, you asked that question, so what, you had a rebuttal or something, why you said
Well,
why
my,
you
my but my thing was this: how many people, yourself included, have worked jobs where you were happy to go to, you enjoyed going to, and it was a pleasure going to?
never.
Okay. Now, how much of your money did you really get to, to see? I mean, you had money to enjoy yourself with. That's because you took it. However, the majority of your money had to go into to what?
Living expenses,
Right.
bills,
Okay.
children, child support.
But now think about our ancestors who were working the fields. Ain't no way they went out there enjoying working on the fields,
Mm-mm.
and they was working on the fields for what? The very same things that we're spending money on today:
Right,
food, clothes, and shelter.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying, though it's not exactly the same as the way we've been taught, but it's a lot of similarities. Because
Hmm.
think about it this way: if we don't own the food supply, then who are we going to? We're going to the so-called master. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And we call a spade a spade.
Right.
If we don't own the land, then guess who we getting the land from? The master.
Yeah.
So if we don't look at it from a different perspective of like ownership, it's time for us to actually ownership. So what you say? Nowadays, we don't enjoy working. I mean, you mo the majority of people working not because they want to, but because they need to and they have to.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is the difference than the ancestors? You were forced by, okay, so they whipped you, but now you don't have to be forced. Now you forced by circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
Circumstances got you doing the same thing they had to do, and the same forefathers or ancestors of those individuals are actually benefiting off of your work.
Yeah.
How how many Fortune 500 companies do we own? How many jobs have you went to where your boss, the person who owned the facility, looked like you?
Hmm.
You know
None.
what I'm saying? So that's something to think about because we've been told we are free, but my thing is, are we really free? Are we really free when there's a law to tell you if you whoop your children, they can come take your children out of your house?
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's
Yep.
a law that says if you don't pay them a certain amount of money, they can take everything you own.
Yep.
So, what is the major difference that we're talking about? Like, we're so free.
They got so many ways to. Let me tell you. I don't mean to cut you off,
Go
but
ahead. Nah, go ahead.
I
Go
know
ahead.
this female, right? She got a $2,500 loan,
Right.
right? So when she got the $2,500 loan, they told her of the 2,500 she would pay back 2,900. She borrowed 2,500. At the time she did it, they told her she would pay back 2,900 from 2,500.
Just 400 extra.
Yeah, she went to get another loan to pay off that loan. Because you know how people do that to build their
Right,
credit.
right, right, right.
When she took the twenty nine
Second
hundred,
loan?
when she got the money for the second loan,
Right.
she went to pay off the first loan. I don't know
Okay.
how much it was left though, but
Right.
they told her that the she owed 3,900. So
And,
she
and
she
how
borrowed 2,500.
and how long was it before she went back? Do you know?
It wasn't that long because if they
Right.
told her 3,900, it couldn't have been that. So that every payment she was making on a loan, maybe like $12 was going to the loan. I can't remember the numbers, but
Right, right. Something like that though.
but that's not the whole. Now this is the killer. The killer was, so she told them, let me pay whatever, the 3,900, 37. They wouldn't let her pay it. She could not pay off the whole loan. They will not accept the money, Sha.
Mm.
Because when she signed the papers to get the loan, they tell you that. So they know that in their mind already. I'm gonna give you 2,500. I'm gonna get 3,900. Put in the clause they can't pay it off, because if they pay it off, we won't. You know what I mean?
You don't get that interest. You
They
you
won't
you
get
you're
the
not.
interest.
Right.
Even though if she tell them, well, I want to pay everything, they wouldn't accept the money from her. Now that's crazy. That's
No.
crazier than the liquor store.
But you know what that is, right?
um, they call that I forgot. What is it?
Basically, just to keep it simple, is financial slavery.
Yeah.
And to take it to another stage, it's extortion. You know what I'm saying? So that they basically extorted her.
Yeah,
You
her
know,
and probably a thousands and thousands other black people.
right? Because what was the difference between loan sharks and that? What's the difference? There's no difference. Only thing then is the so-called American government give it the okay. It's okay to
They
do it.
got a LLC to do it.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And remember, some of these we call them predatory lenders.
Hmm.
They find prey. They find certain people that they will give these loans to, and other people they get better, better loans.
Yep.
So what we need is, because we all one human family. Even though even I speak on us coming together, we need our so-called white brothers and sisters to stand up for us, to stop being a part of the madness. If you want to do something for black people, then stop being a part of what it is that's causing us hardship.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That's what we need from y'all.
That's the key. My and then I could go on. My daughter, she called me last week. She had a blowout. I went. She hit a curb. Her tire was split. Said drive around the corner to the tire place. It's like three of them. I meant for her to go to the first one, but she went to the second one.
Right,
By the time I got there, the guy was already taking the tire off. So
right.
I just started having small talk with her. So I said to her, I said, I don't like this place. I wanted you to go to the first place. She said, oh, I didn't know. I said, well, let me see how much this guy gonna charge you. Because he in the process of
He
putting on his.
already working. Right.
So she said he already told me. I said, well, what did he tell you? $70 and $5 tax. $75 for a
To
used
do
tire.
what? For a
70
new tire
you
or used
you
tire?
used
For a
tire.
used tire.
So I looked at my man and I said, yo, you know that's too much money for a used tire. You know what I mean? I was and
Right,
I gave to him some other choice words I won't say
right,
out
right,
here.
right.
He was trying to listen. I'm like, no, I'm not listening. I'm not talking no more. I told my daughter, pay him. I'll give you half the money, but I'll never come back here again. Somebody else told me they bought a used tire for like $40.
From the same
So,
place?
yeah, well, no, it's not the same place, but everybody know a used tire is no more than $50.
Right, right.
So what I'm saying is what you just said. Stop being a problem. You know what I mean? You want to talk. People want to talk like they not racist or they not this or they not that. Stop being a problem. You know what I mean? Start being part of the solution. Because if they don't, everything is gonna stay just like it is, unless we change it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the ultimate change gonna need to start with us. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's necessary for us to start doing more for each other, promoting each other more, because any place or any skills anybody else got, we got people who had the skills. Now, the problem is most times with us is because there's not enough people doing a certain thing, you normally have to charge more than people who it's a network of people doing things. You know what I'm saying? So because of that, that means okay, we need to come together and be able to put money together. If we can put money together to get a fifth of Hennessy or whatever, a package or whatever, then we can put money together to build foundations for the next generation.
Mm-hmm.
And that's an obligation for us. That's an obligation. We obligated to do that for our people because if we don't do it, who's going to do it? That's
Yeah.
the reality,
Yeah.
you know? And we see it being done around us, as you said, where you went, it was multiple tire spots owned by who? Pretty much the same ethnicity of people, right?
Yeah. All three of them is the same people.
Okay, so what is, and if you come to different places like Patterson, it's like, what do we own? We study giving our money away, complaining, but we're not saying, look, let's put this money together and just make the change. It's people that know how to change tires. So come on. So why not have a tire place that you could
It's
go
people that
to?
got money to get a liquor store.
Absolutely. So, let's start, making the effort, man, because it's time. It's way over time for us to really make the changes that we're destined to make as a people. And as I said, to anyone who's watching who's not more black or whatever, there's no disrespect for no other people because I didn't make us different. God made us different.
Right.
You know what I mean? God made us different when it comes to complexion and ethnicity and things of that nature. Otherwise, all of you who stick together would be coming to help us. You'll be working with us and making sure we good if that was the case. And you
Yeah.
don't do that.
Because we already proved that we had helped them.
Right.
We already proved that. You know what
Yeah,
I
we help
mean?
them every day. Every time we go into an establishment and spend our money, we helping them. That's the reality.
Set, and that won't stop ringing in my head. 10 to 10, 7 days a week. Spread the word.
12 hours a day. I'm getting knowledge, wisdom. I want you to spread the wisdom so I can get the understanding.
Set 10 to 10, 7 days a week. Spread the word, my man. Spread the word, my man. Like he's saying, spread the word, you dummy. Spread the
Yeah,
word, you
yeah,
fool,
yeah.
you
Well,
sucker.
uh, yeah, and believe it or not, to some degree, I think other ethnicities see us that way
Yeah,
to
of
some
course.
degree because that's why I be pushing what I'm pushing when it comes to having a legal nationality and just because the fact I always say the fact that we call ourselves black, that we acknowledge ourselves as black,
Yeah.
and the first word out of our mouth is not American, tells us America ain't been good to us. America's been
Nah.
that foster mother that only kept us because she was making money off of us. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's all
Yeah.
America been to us. A foster mother. We
Yeah.
need our birth mother. We need a land and a government that we could say is ours.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where we get to make the laws where we are the majority and not the minority.
Yep.
That's what we need. And the reality is we have an opportunity to do that because there's documentation that actually give us that right. And it's
Yeah.
been hidden from us, because
Yeah.
they've been telling us we black, colored, and Negro, when in reality, our ancestors who were here before slavery were Moors.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what they don't want us to know, AKA Moroccans. And,
Yeah.
and we had what you call contracts with the United States and other signatory powers like Great Britain, Russia, and all of them. We had, and they call it treaties. We had
Yeah.
that documentation with them,
Yeah.
and so it's about us making some better decisions for ourselves, man. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because really, our main problem now is us and the conditioning that has been done to us that many of us find it difficult to override.
Yep.
Like you said, your father was conditioned to work. You know what I mean? It was a conditioning.
Yeah.
My grandfather was the same way. My grandfather couldn't even write his name. You know
Miney,
what
my
I mean?
father couldn't.
X. They just put an X.
Yeah, that's how my
You know
father
what I
used to
mean?
sign his name with an X.
Right. So that generation, you see what they had done to the generation because look, if you were able to work then, no matter how young you was, they'd start you working. But if you can't read, how much money they done kept that you didn't know about? You know what I'm saying? How
Now
many
that
times
started
they
along. Now that started along. Why you think they didn't want us to read? They beat you half to death if they found out you knew how to read.
and now you know why? Because they knew that our ancestors had documentation that if we knew about it, we would be able to say they are the foreigners.
Hmm.
America is the foreign country in our land. And
Yeah,
they start telling us we was Indians and all that, but we know where Indians is in India.
yeah.
So come on. They've been playing us, man. We've been being played by America.
You had another question?
Yeah. Who's? Let me see. Uh, oh, somebody. Man, to say. Well, our people from Africa is having problems accepting us because they themselves, even though they have decolonized to a certain extent, they still messed up because they're still being governed by Great Britain.
Mm,
As we are being governed by America slash Great Britain, they're being governed too. And the whole reason behind colonization and being governed over is to control the resources of the land. Once you control the resources, you had a power. All the resources Africa has, they don't get the opportunity to benefit off of the resources. My suggestion is that Africa team up with us and we reestablish the Moroccan Empire and be make all the lands that they separated one land again, and we become one people again. That's what I believe the answer is for us. Then it won't be a reason for them to say, you know, they don't want us around because we'll all be one nationality. That's the thing. That's how they got us because they made us a bunch of different nationalities, cut the land up, so we didn't realize that we were all one people. So the old, divide and conquer system. That's what America, Great Britain, Russia, China, a lot of them has been doing to us. That's what's been
hmm
happening to us.
mm.
Oh, okay. And I hope that answer suffice for you, Amanda. Okay. Now, yeah, I do have a question. Okay, are there actions that you see that are worse than infidelity? Is there
Um,
any action worse than a person cheating on you, basically?
I mean, well, the old saying goes like, nobody want to be around a liar, a thief, or a cheater. Um, to say which one is, I mean, well, imagine if a lady stole all your money in the bank. Um, Imagine if a lady lied to you about something that was life or death. Imagine if a lady cheated on you. So I I guess maybe somebody cheating on you probably would be the worst. That's
So,
probably
so,
the that's probably
so,
the
okay,
biggest
all right. That's the worst. That's one of the worst actions you say.
Yeah, I think that would be the worst.
Okay, so a person being faithful to you, but takes
Mm,
all your money out the bank and spend it up. That would be that you can handle that more than her cheating.
that's hard.
Because and I'm using your scenario. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's hard because well, if I was married, I would say um the cheating part. If we was just dating, just girlfriends and boyfriend, I would say the money part.
Okay.
Um,
So okay,
if I was married, I would think that the cheating would be like
the
the biggest,
worst.
the
That would
worst.
be the worst.
But
Okay.
if we was just dating, just going together, boyfriend and girlfriend, or courting, whatever you want to call it, I would think taking all my money, and that would be worse than that because if you ain't married to nobody, you don't own nobody.
Right, right,
I
right.
don't care what kind of agreement or commitment or whatever you got going on. If you're not married to somebody, I mean, it's still you got a verbal agreement that that's your man and that's your woman, But it's a reason why people get married. It's a reason why people make commitments. Some people commitments. Some people are committed. Some people not married and live like they married.
Absolutely.
Then you got people that's married that don't live like they married. You know what I mean? So it could go. That's a tough one right there. I would like to see what a lady said about that.
Look like it says
Tooth hurt. Uh,
they said you look like they said look like Amanda say Jackson. You want to be in control.
um, if it go by somebody cheating on me or taking my money, yeah, I guess I do want to be in control.
uh,
I guess I asked her. She don't want her man to be in control.
I'm,
She want to be in control of him.
I'm sure she heard you. She can respond. I'm
Who
sure
is
she
that?
heard
You
you.
said Manda.
Yeah, Amanda.
Man,
Yeah.
do you want to be in control? You don't want your man to be in control. You want to be in control of your man.
And Margie had said, going back to the Africans, she said she worked with a lot of Africans. They don't, you know, they don't like us. She worked with many of them.
They don't.
Yeah, Amanda said she have to be. She
See
she said she have to be in control.
and see what and know what I'm saying about that. I re, I respect her because that's no you know why?
Why?
Because that's a real black woman answer. That's out of the mouth of the babes. I mean, she ain't lying. That's out of the. I know
She
you
being
don't like to say.
honest.
I know you don't like to say blacks. You like to say Moroccans, but that's
Yeah,
out of
well,
the.
yeah,
That's a real right there. That's a real black woman's answer right there.
yeah.
She has to be in control.
She said she have to be.
She
I
got to
can dig
be. I ain't take. I applaud her for giving that truthful answer, and not because I thought she was gonna say no. It got to be 50-50. That's
it.
what I thought she was gonna say, but she came better than that. She said,
she, she said hi, and now she gives you the hello.
"Hello."
Yeah, but and the reality is, to be honest, it's not that I don't like black. I don't like the word black. I just know that based on my recent studies for about a year and some change, that black is not gonna free us the way we need to be free being black.
Mm,
That's why I just try to get us to realize black describes our complexion.
mm-hmm.
And it really doesn't do that well because we all different shades. You know what I'm saying? And everybody else that we talk about, everybody else that we mentioned that's doing well economically, in most cases socially,
Yeah,
they all have a name that matches with the land they're from.
yeah, yeah,
We're the only one that don't have that.
yeah. I know.
You know what I'm saying? So we are the weirdos when it comes to nationality. We calling ourselves black. Do we live in Blackland? We don't live in Blackland nowhere. It's no land on earth called Blackland. So
Mm,
we the only people who don't claim a land but claim a nationality that don't connect us to a land.
right.
And even when we go and we say we African American, none of you hear everybody saying Africa don't care for us. If how do we claim African American if we're talking about African people don't even acknowledge us? So why are we saying we African American?
That's true.
So we're like the people in no man's land. So basically, what it is for us is we need our own land, and we have our own land. We just have to change who we identify as, and it's okay that amongst each other we say, yeah, we black. But when it comes to public speaking and when it comes to legal nationality, no, we got to claim what's on paper. We got to claim what's written.
Yeah,
Moroccans, Moors for short. There's documentation that says that's who we are. And I'm a part of a government that has our own constitution that claims us. There's and anybody watching, you can go and look up this treaty called the Treaty of Madrid, and it'll say that on Article 15, paragraph 1, we had a right to come back to our true nationality, basically. And I'm paraphrasing, but it does say that in the treaty, 1880 Treaty of Madrid. That's a contract, and going back to what you said, the reason that they didn't want your father to know how to read, because back then they would have read that. They'd have known that they had rights other than what they were being given.
yeah,
That's the thing. Remember, we are one of the only people who are being satisfied with civil rights instead of human rights.
right,
Civil rights is rights that another people give you. Human rights is what God give you as a human being. That's the difference, and that's why they start getting mad at Martin Luther King when he realized that when he said he ran us into a burning house. One of his speeches, he said he ran his people into a burning house when he realized that there was two Americas. He called it two Americas. They only played that I have a dream speech because the reality is he realized that he had made a mistake when he accepted civil rights rather than what Malcolm X was fighting for was human rights.
mm-hmm. I heard that.
That's yeah. So once they got together, he realized, oh, I made a mistake. I want to course correct. I want to correct. We got to fight for our human rights. We deserve as human beings to govern ourselves. There's a document called the Indigenous People, United Nations Rights for Indigenous People, that tells you each people have a right to a nationality and they have a right to govern themselves. You know what I'm saying? We have a right to claim a nationality. We don't have to claim what America calls us. We get the right to call ourselves what we want to call ourselves, that legal identity that our ancestors called themselves prior to being slaves. We know many of us normally operate on what happened to us slavery and after. But what were we prior to slaves? That's the key. And that's our time. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Dee Dee. Thank you, Keisha. And thank you, Margie. And who we had over here? Who we had on
Artie, Artie, Dawn, um, Roman, um, uh, and whoever else. Uh,
right.
Sorry, we didn't mention you. I think that was everybody.
Yeah, we want to thank all of yous for taking the time, to spend with us. Let me see, Margie said one more thing. See that African staff at work.
Broke my damn speaker, man. Damn it. Broke my speaker.
Okay, Amanda, go ahead. Thank you for putting that time. Go ahead and do what you got to do.
Yeah, cause I'm getting ready to go to the next phase. So everybody who listening, I'm getting ready to go on my Facebook Live, Randy J. Sean Jackson, about 9:30, and I'll be on my TikTok at J Sean 763 at about 15 minutes. So if, everybody about 9:30, I'll be on Facebook Live.
Okay, uh, we we about to go, Margie, but you were saying something about the African people were saying why every time we do something for each other, we want something from each other. I mean, that's not always a true statement because what we were saying before, many times we do things for people and we don't get anything from them. And I think that's the problem sometimes that we do things and we don't get anything. I'm pretty sure that, yeah, there are people that you do things for and you just help and you don't want anything. And we all do that. And that's fine to do that sometimes. But the
Yeah,
whole thing is we here to help each other. So it should be I do for you when you need me and you do for me when I need you. That's the best way it could be, you know? So with that being said, thank you very much. Look forward to seeing you all next week. Peace. All right, my brother.